Now, if you've been watching our Project Supercar Killer throughout 2021, you'll know that we obviously did the 3.2 upgrade and stuck with the same G35,050 turbo that we had before, so we could do a back-to-back 2.6 versus 3.2. Car made a little over 800 horsepower, only 22 pounds, and I'll be honest with you, it is probably one of the best setup GTRs I've ever driven on that power level. 800 horsepower, but so usable and so drivable. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I decided, you know what, I just want to drive it for a couple of months. So that's what I did. And then the GR Yaris consumed my entire life as we went off and chased that car for October, November. So the GTR was just being driven around for a couple of months before we went to Runway Thrash at Cootamundra in November. The plan was at Cootamundra is to get you guys a whole bunch of performance data, both on street tyres, and on drag radius, 0 to 100, 0 to 200, etc. So we can compare it to modern supercars and see how quick this car really is. However, plans don't always go to plan, and the Cootamundra curse can arise. So instead of showing you all this performance data of our GTR, we're going to give you an update of exactly what's been happening with the car and our plan going into 2022. So we had a few problems at Cootamundra. The first one was a light misfire in 4th and 5th gear, which I had felt on the street once before, but never had it on the dyno. I looked at some heat soak issues, but once we got into the Howtech, looked at all the data in detail, we did find that we were having fuel pressure issues in 4th and 5th gear, but not 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And we didn't have these on the dyno. And essentially what's happening is one run on the dyno is fine, but when you're doing a run and going through 5 gears, basically what's happening is the mechanical fuel pump in the engine bay is sucking through a very long -10 fuel line from the boot. And as it tries to suck through basically a really long straw, it just struggles to keep the fuel pressure. And obviously as the tank is starting to empty quicker than it's getting filled up, there could potentially be a vacuum in the tank which is fighting against it. And we were getting fuel pressure oscillations in 4th and 5th gear. And as the fuel pressure oscillates down, you would either get engine protection causing a cut or a lean misfire in one cylinder. And then the fuel pressure would come back, it's okay, and then it would go back down again, etc. So we get this very light miss high up in 4th and 5th gear, which basically means we can't race the car. You can drive around just fine, we can dyno it, but we can't race it due to that issue. Now, the remedy to fix it, we either put normal fuel pumps in the back, or we do a fuel tank in the front, or should I say a surge tank in the front, and then have a very short -12 line from here to the surge tank. And our plan is to do that when we install the G45 and do all the new fab work on the hot side. So that was our first issue at Cootamundra that basically put a stop to any testing. Secondly, we had a clutch throwout bearing seize for no reason, which basically meant we had to get the gearbox out of this car, get a new bearing, check the clutch and put it all back together again. So that held us up even longer. Our next issue was some steering issues. You saw that we installed a single stage rebuilt pump from 26 Engineering in the USA. But our other problem was we were still getting bump steer. So we ordered GK Tech tie rods and tie rod ends, and I ended up having to rebuild the entire steering rack. That is all now back in the car. We have filmed a feature all about fixing the steering system. However, we're just waiting for time to get it wheel aligned, which we've had none. Just been busy, it's nearly Christmas. So once we get a wheel alignment on the car, we can finish that video. You'll also notice there's a new intercooler on the car, a Plasmaman Pro Series 100mm thick intercooler, which we want to test back to back with our old HKS intercooler. So that's on the car now. We basically just need to get it on the dyno at CRD. We've already filmed the video for the installation. Now we just need to find some dyno time. If we can get it done before Christmas, great. There's only a couple of days left. If not, it'll have to wait till mid-January. After that, we'll be doing our inlet manifold test. We have a range of 6 throttle manifolds that we're going to test, a single throttle manifold, and we're going to go drive-by-wire as well. So once we've completed all of the inlet manifold and intercooler tests on the dyno, hopefully by the end of January, then we will go and do the G45 installation. So we won't be racing the car on 800 horsepower with the extra weight of the cage. It's not going to get any quicker than what it used to be. We are going to race it once it's G45. So our plan is test intercooler, test inlet manifolds, take the car off the road in February where it's nice and hot and you don't really get the chance to race anyway. G45 will go on, new surge tank, a few other changes, and then we can continue development. And obviously our master plan is to get into the 8-second bracket with a manual, street-driven, full-weight GTR that also has the performance figures to smash supercars with ease. So stay tuned. 2022, pretty exciting for our R32 GTR.